You've run into a predicament. You're interested in world building again, but you suck at storytelling. Any advice if I also suck at making characters, ignoring your 7 original characters? Um, I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't actually. Uh, Maybe instead of thinking about it as world building or storytelling, try to think of it as putting interesting decisions in front of the players. I think that while it's true that we sort of are building a world, and it's true that we hope that a story comes out of it, ultimately, and this I think is true even if you make it very sort of like the mechanics are laid bare. Um, Ultimately, we're providing sort of decisions. Uh, if you take a campaign, you take D&D and you stack it up, all of the interesting moments are going to come from whatever decision that was put in front of the players and what they did with that decision. And sometimes that's even the answer to like, how do I deal with a weird, uh, you know, corner that I backed myself into in the campaign? It's like, well, what if you gave them a decision about that, and if they go the way that you hope they won't, what if you allowed that as well and embraced it and developed it? Sometimes that's where exciting stuff comes from. So yeah, just think about what would make for interesting challenges, either from a tactical perspective. How will they escape the tavern when it's on fire and there's people on the roof waiting to shoot them when they run out? Okay, that's a horrible situation. What are the players going to do? um Maybe it's a character building or like a moral question of, two people are they've got two people that they could give business to like hire, basically passage out of town, but each of them have sort of, they have views in the region that are at odds with each other, and now the players have to make a choice. Now the players, whichever one they go with, they're sort of ostensibly agreeing with that one in a way that like lots of people in the town will see. Like if they're forced to take a side, in other words, what side will they take? A good way to get at those ideas is to think about the types of stories that you like and sort of break them down, right? Even if we can't, even if it's from a brainstorming perspective, like maybe the ideas aren't flowing, maybe there's not a whole bunch of stuff that inspires you right now, but if you make a list of uh bomb bomb dia, hey, welcome to the stream. If you make a list of, say, hi ML, um make a list of like the 10, like your 10 most favorite stories that could be books, movies, television, and started to sort of break down the exciting moments within that, and then take that moment and say, okay, how could, if what are the building blocks of this moment? So when I'm thinking about that, gosh, what would I pick? So something like Back to the Future, right? Fundamental movie for me growing up, probably still now. And what are the exciting moments in that for me? Well, I really like the entire sort of fish out of water few minutes where Marty is in the past. I guess spoilers for Back to the Future if you've not seen a 30-year-old movie by now. And kind of thinks he's probably in the past, but isn't entirely sure, and is sort of like the last person who you would pick to be the world's first time traveler. I guess that's not Einie. Um, and so him exploring his hometown, him exploring Hill Valley, that entire thing is just a wonderful storytelling beat. Like I think of that fondly from Back to the Future. Well, okay, well we can't just put that scene into our games, right? It's like, well, yeah, okay. What if the party, through happenstance, or maybe a similar sort of, there's an alchemist, an inventor, maybe it's a weird brew of potions or a witch or something strange. What if it's almost like a mirror of their hometown? Or what if it's sort of like a dark, nightmarish version? What if they're sort of re-encountering something that's mundane and regular to them, but in a new way? And they have to sort of uncover what's different about the town. Why is it this way? That could be as simple as a room in a tavern. It could be an entire like guild hall, or maybe it's the whole town, or it could be the entire world. That's a way of like saying, well, what do I like about this? Okay, great. I'm going to take that and I'm going to reflect it into D&D and make something that could be playable and could launch other ideas off of. Well, now that I thought about that, what could twist the world? Is it, does the material plane go crashing into the Feywild, and now it's how do we untangle everything? Or maybe it's darkness everywhere. Maybe it's everything is still, right? Like now I'm thinking of like Twilight Zone episodes where it's like if everything's frozen in time, and everybody's like everything's half, you know, that thing where it's like everybody's acting something out, but everybody's frozen, like they would do in an old Twilight Zone episode. Lots of ideas can stem from that, I think. Hey, Pokey. I'm actually I'm making this because it ties in with a one shot that I've been working on that I plan to publish. So I'll be using this in playtesting and in like the, you know, PDF and promo stuff that I put together for it. So it's this kind of like multi-storied playable cottage.